Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a warm welcome on a rather cold evening to ZoomIN session number 82. I do hope you all are well, and so is everyone around you. Of the many lessons which we have learned during COVID, I feel the most important lesson is that we are all part of a chain and we are all interdependent on each other. We will be safe and well only if our neighbors are safe and well, our friends are, our community is, our staff are. Only then we will all be safe. And today's session is Coaching for Life with Sonali Mongia Amla. So, Sonali, a very warm welcome to your own club and to your own Vasant Vihar. We are blessed to be living in Vasant Vihar, where we are surrounded by so many of our members who are much older than us, and they'll be curious how this session is called Coaching for Life. They've seen life much more than Sonali, you and I put together. So,
Absolutely.
so it's going to be an interesting journey for them to hear to what you have to say. So let me just tell you a little bit about Sonali. She looks young, but she has done many things. Um, Sonali is the head of practice development and branding at Indus Law. She's one of the pioneers for law firm marketing in India. Well done, Sonali.
Thank you.
Having worked in PR, brand management, and hospitality for more than 3 decades, Sonali has also been the chairperson of CII IWN Delhi. This is Indian Women's Network, which is a arm of the CII, the industry body, and it's a platform that is all about women supporting women. And under her leadership, uh, the nascent organization grew, which today has become a force to reckon with. And I can proudly say I have been associated with CIIWN when Sonali was the chairperson, and she did an incredible job there. Um, with a strong desire to contribute towards CSR and social responsibility and to help people, she decided to become a life coach and a certified executive coach. And she has successfully coached senior leadership across industries and country. So, Sonali, a very warm welcome to ZoomIN 82. Uh, we all know that, and we are going through it, and you know more than most people, that we are going through a difficult time, and anxiety, stress, fear, these are emotions which we are all having to grapple with, and we're all these are the emotions which are foremost on our minds. So as a life coach, how do we address these rather complex emotions? So let's start with that, and then we'll learn more as we go through this session.
Okay. Thank you, Sanjana, for that lovely introduction. Hello, everybody. Welcome. For me, Vasant Vihar has been home. It is home. This is where I grew up. I was 6 months old when my parents shifted here. And besides being out for a brief period of time when I was married, I came back here. So for me, this is home. This is the home I grew up in. And
Wow.
Vasant Vihar has been a very dear colony because, like I said, it's home.
Right.
And it's great to see how things have moved, and how we all have come together as a community, especially in these last few years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the last couple of years, the Vasant Vihar community has really come together. Whether it has been with VV Divas, whether it has been with the RWA, whether it's been with Vasant Vihar Club. I think everybody joining hands together has brought Vasant Vihar together as a community.
Very
And
true. I second what you're saying. Really is that.
it really is.
Yeah.
And like what I see, especially during this whole COVID times, the last 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
how everybody has done so much for Vasant Vihar. It's amazing where, whether you have, the stress, anxiety, all of this, we are all feeling, right? This is part of life, unfortunately, for all of us. And
Right.
it's transcended all ages,
Mhm.
right from children to adults to, the elderly as well. I have all three generations in my house, and I've seen how it's affected each one of us, how it's impacted us so much.
Right.
And, so it has been difficult, it's been challenging. But yet, having everybody in Vasant Vihar has been such a fabulous support system for each other. So we've all had, whether it's, support for ourselves, whether it's the senior citizen program, where we are supporting our senior citizens, especially those who are alone, living alone. It's been wonderful. And so, yes, so this whole stress and anxiety has been, a very, unfortunately, a very sad part of all our lives. And that's why for me, as my entire journey that I've had so far, from meditation to now to coaching, has been, first was a self-discovery, was for me to see for myself, to answer those questions I was looking for. And then once I'm at peace with myself and I found those answers, is now how I can help the others.
Right.
And
You're
that's where life
absolutely
coaching
right
happened.
about the community coming together, and that has, in so many ways, been such a strong binding force for the whole community. And,
Correct. It
and
it really has.
yeah,
And so, like, kudos, Sanjana, because when I say, can I say for Vasant Vihar Club with Mr. Mago and you, with Mr. Bindra for RWA, Nidhi, Natasha, the entire BV Divas, the whole support system has been fabulous.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's wonderful.
So, yeah, kudos and thank you to everybody.
You were talking about anxiety amongst children as well. I mean, again, when we think about anxiety, we never think that children get anxious. But that is something, again, you say you have seen and you have experienced. So share a little bit more, because what happens is, when we are talking about it, so many other people also relate to the situation as well.
So I think, unfortunately, the times, like, so I was talking about Vasant Vihar when I grew up in. Okay, the
Mm-hmm.
Vasant Vihar I grew up in, I came back from school and I was out of the house at like 3:34 in the afternoon. My mother had no idea where I was going. There was no telephones, there was no mobiles, there was no Didi following me around. I left the house, and the only thing I had been told by my mother was, you had to come back before it got dark,
Sure.
which in the summer months meant like 7:30, right? She had no idea where I was. And I was out, I was cycling, walking, we were going to play squash, we were with friends. And
Right.
that was a very carefree life that we had growing up. Today, unfortunately, our children don't have that.
Sure.
Okay. Besides the COVID stress, which has been extensive right now, the poor children, in any case, like, I know, my daughter's watching this right now and she will testify to this for me. I will not even let her go to the next door neighbor's house without somebody being standing outside and watching her go into the gate.
Sure.
And it's not like I'm not one of the paranoid mothers, but I just feel that, standing outside for even a few seconds till someone opens the gate, you don't know who will come and do what. Now, that kind of fear is what we are unfortunately instilling in our children, because those are the times we are now sadly living in. They're
Yes.
already being brought up. They cannot go to a friend's house. They cannot go anywhere without, somebody adult being in the car with them or anything, right?
Right.
Last 2 years of COVID for them has
Yes.
not been easy.
Absolutely.
It's been, unfortunately, in India, we've not had school. Our school has been totally online for most of the schools. A few of them still open for a month or two or whatever. I think if I talk from at least from a personal perspective, my daughter's been to school, like physical school, I think 10 days or 12 days in 2 years,
Right.
which is very hard.
Yes.
It's not easy for them. Plus, of course, the entire anxiety of having to, study, being online, trying to, and still being stuck at home. You can't go out for, okay, again, we are back to being, at home. Unfortunately, it's so sad right now. Again, there are a lot of COVID cases. Every house practically has some COVID case or the other. This right now, thankfully, this case seems to be a little milder. And, so
Sure.
everybody seems to be a little better.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still not easy for them.
Yes. Um, agree with you that there that it is difficult, and we are going through difficult times, whether we want to accept it or not. But yeah, one has shown a lot of resilience and one has moved on. And we hope that, in the near future, this will just be like a time which made us stronger and better as people. Um, what is coaching? Because that is a question which many people asked. And I mean, I said I don't have an answer. We'll have to wait till Sonali tells us what is coaching, who is a life coach.
So coaching by definition, okay, is more about how you unlock a person's potential to maximize their performance. So that's a very technical definition, right? But it's basically, about how, how I as a coach can bring out your potential. So if you're going through a challenge in life, okay, whatever the challenge may be, I mean, it could be work related, it could be in your personal life. So it could be, stress at work, it could be goal setting, could be time management. Personal life could be issue with, a spouse, issue with a child, issue with just dealing with home stress, dealing with COVID, any of these issues. Now, the belief for us as coaches is that each person has a different way of dealing or a mechanism which works for them.
Sure.
Right? And how they can find solutions to those problems that they are facing. So it's in a way of a conversation, how we are trained to ask questions, which brings out those answers for you. So
Okay.
in simple language, the idea is not for me to put my thoughts or my beliefs onto you. Right? So just as an example, like if you're very stressed out, right? Now something like meditation might work for me, okay? But it may not work for you.
Sure.
Now, if I as a coach suggest that to you and say, Sanjana, why don't you try meditation? Just as if you're having a conversation, and I said, try meditation. I'm putting my philosophy onto you, which is not the right thing.
Right.
By speaking to you and asking you the right questions, I need for you to come up with what is working for you. So for you, maybe it's yoga, maybe it's chanting.
Right.
But it is about how you will come up with that.
So you have to figure out the answer, and everything is very tailor made to the individual.
Correct.
As well. How did you decide to become a coach? You want to share that experience with us a little bit? What prompted you to take on this role amidst all the various different things that you have already done?
Okay. So to answer that question, I'm going to go back a little bit.
Sure.
Okay. So there was a time in my life where I went through a very rough phase. And I went on a very, like a soul searching spree, so to say, where there were a lot of answers that I was looking for. And I was not being able to find those answers. And so I tried everything at that point in time to see. So whether it was chanting, whether it was pranic healing, I actually then eventually settled on meditation for a much longer period of time, because that kind of gave me a lot of the answers I was looking for.
Okay.
And after like many years of doing this, it kind of gave me a sense of peace in my mind and an acceptance for who I was, because I had understood, the whole soul's journey, the reason, why things happen. And it was an acceptance I took, and I said, okay, fine, this answered a lot of my questions for me. And because now I had reached that level where I was happy and comfortable and peace with myself, I was looking to do something more, and coaching just came along. And I was actually, it was a stage where I was trying to see how I can help people, because I realized that is something I enjoy doing. I want to help people as the best as I can. And coaching just was suggested by a friend of mine. It was during these COVID times. I wasn't working, I was on a sabbatical. And she suggested it. And when I spoke to the lady who actually conducts this coaching, the whole coaching workshop, and I explained to her what I wanted to do, her first thing to me was, because I told her, I said, look, I want to help people. And she's like, this is the best way to help them. Because if you can, and when after now doing this intensive program that I did, I realized and said that if even in a small way, I can help make a difference in somebody's life, make them find that peace or that happiness that I found for myself, then I
Right.
think, that's good enough for me.
Wow.
So,
So you are doing this in order to help yourself and also help other people, overcome whatever they are going through in life. So this
correct.
is what prompted you to become a coach.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I mean, what you are saying is very similar to what somebody would say is when you go to visit a therapist.
Mhm.
So, are therapists very similar to coaches, or is coaching similar to being a therapist, or are they are they niche spaces?
So good question, Sanjana. So it's similar but yet different. So
Okay.
therapists are, of course, they have huge qualifications behind them, right? So they've done a lot of academic studies. There's a lot of qualification that goes behind them.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference between a therapist and a coach is the therapist will focus on your past, on your patterns, whereas a coach will focus on the here and the now,
Okay.
right?
That's a big
And
difference.
yeah, so that is where the very big difference is. It's about the here and the now, and it's about the future. So when you talk, so that's when goal setting comes in,
Okay. Okay.
right? Or things like goal setting, or about how to plan for the future. So that is where the very big difference is. And also therapy gives you solutions and suggests things what to do. Like I said in the beginning, as a coach, I cannot do that. I cannot give you a solution. I cannot tell you and say, you know what, do meditation or do chanting or do this kind of a goal setting.
Mm-hmm.
I have to help you come to your own solution that works for you.
Right.
So the solution is there. I mean, eventually we do come to a solution, but it is your solution.
Right. And as a coach, are you entire? I mean, can you prescribe medication, because that is something which therapists do as well? So,
Not at all.
as a life coach, you're not equipped to do that,
No.
right? So, what are some of the elements which make a life coach?
Elements in terms of the kind of stuff that we can do.
Right.
Okay. So one can talk about anything. So if I start a coaching session, it's the canvas is wide open. It is up to the client on what they choose or not to choose, also on what they would like to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So the choice is entirely theirs. I come with no prejudices, no background, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The client chooses on what they would like to speak. So it could be about stress management, it could be goal setting, it could be how to deal with COVID, could be anything. It could be like how to deal with your boss, or how to deal with a junior. If I mean depends. It's or even like just personal stress at home. So it absolutely is up to the client,
Okay.
and I take their cue and take it forward.
When you talk about goal setting, that is something which you've mentioned two, three times. Just explain to us who are not familiar with it. What does goal setting? What do you mean by goal setting?
So goal setting could be something in your personal life, or could even in your professional life.
Mm-hmm.
So whichever point in time for what you want is in your personal life, it would be say 5 years down the road. What is the kind of life I would like to be leading?
Mm-hmm.
So so you determine what that goal is, and then you work backwards to say, okay, fine, 3 years down the road or 5 years down the road, this is what I want. This is the kind of say the life I want to have. So
Mm-hmm.
then I work backwards to say, okay, I need to do 1, 2, 3, 5. These are the 5 steps I need to do.
Okay.
Similarly, in a professional environment, I want to become the manager in my organization or the CEO in my organization.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are the steps I need to do to eventually reach that goal?
Okay. Right.
So, again, it becomes very individual, but yet it is about determining what that end is that you want, and then the steps how to reach that.
Okay. And how frequently does one need to, I mean, see a life coach? I mean, is it on a regular basis? Is it like on a one-off thing? What is the pattern of engagement with the life coach?
So it again depends on individual to individual. I mean, definitely it helps to have a few sessions.
Okay.
If there is a particular situation that you're having, there's no fixed thing. It can be, I can have a session every day. You can have a session once a week and have maybe, 3 or 4 sessions. If there is something more you'd like to talk about, and you can do it even, once a week, and carry on for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
So it all depends. Again, it's situation to situation
And individual to
and
individual.
individual to individual.
Right. Depending on what their needs are and what they want to get out of talking
Correct.
to you.
Yeah.
Right. Something else which you mentioned in passing is time management. In this day and age, when we think we have our phones, we have our laptops, we are keeping time much better. Is that something we really need? How to do time management? What's your experience been?
So, for me, I think time management is critical. I can't function without it.
I know you're juggling so many different things.
Yeah. Okay. So, whether it's my calendar on my phone, which is how I'm mapping, my life, my daughter's life, to some extent, my mother's life too.
Okay.
But, I mean, and work, right? So when you have to manage and you're juggling, like today, it's no longer like how I was telling you how we were when we were younger, right?
Sure.
It was carefree life. I think our parents also had a much more carefree life than we have right now. There's not so much of, multiple things happening at the same time. So that managing your time, preparing things, in advance. So whether it's having checklists, okay, I cannot survive without checklists. So for anything that's happening, even if it's say a simple party in my house, I mean, as long as I know that, okay, fine, even if it's happening 1 week later or 10 days later, I will immediately make a checklist. Who was my invitee list and what all do I need for that party? Is it what food, what drinks, what bartender, simple things down to like the smallest detail. And then I'm fine. Because then I can manage my time accordingly. Because then I know what it is I need to do. And so this happens for even like I'm saying, a small thing down to having say a dinner in the house. But it also works for me for work.
Right.
So time management and managing your time is very, very important.
So is that something which, again, as a life coach, you are able to, help
Yes.
people achieve?
Absolutely, most certainly. So
Okay.
that definitely is one of the things, like I said, so like goal setting, the same way you help somebody, plot their time as well. So that
Okay.
whole time management piece becomes very important.
I'm going to ask, we have a lot of people who've seen a lot more life than both of us. So it would be
Correct.
interesting to hear them talk about how they manage their time, perhaps after, in the question and answer session, just to understand from them how they think that we, you and I of this
Absolutely.
generation,
Yeah,
so
absolutely. I
with
agree.
all our little devices, how we are coping and how we are doing. It would be
Yeah.
very, very
It actually
interesting.
will be. I would love to because, like we still have technology on our side. We have our phones, we have our iPads and, things which
Right.
help us. I
Yes.
mean, I would love to know how they all have done this and how they're managing now and coping with it.
Yes, sure. And as we have many people who are older, one of the questions which comes up is, as a life coach, how can you help the elders? How do you think they can benefit from interacting with, say, you, who's a
So
life coach?
it's the same way. Sorry, I think, is it my network that's gone?
Yes, we've lost you for a minute. I think the lights must have gone off. So, Sonali, are you there? Yeah, we have you
Sorry.
back now. We have you back, Sonali.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry,
must
this is
take
in
a
spite of
couple of
putting my
minutes
phone on
better.
hotspot so that we won't have this problem.
No, no, no problem. See, technology always gets the better of us, whatever we may think.
That's true. It really does.
Yeah. So we were discussing how you can help, elderly people with, I mean, how they can benefit from having a life coach.
So it's the same way. I think coaching there's no bar to the age of coaching, right? I mean,
Okay.
as a coach, I can help a child, I can help an adult, I can help an elderly person. So like I said, it's again very tailor-made to what works for each individual.
Mm-hmm.
So, the issues a child would have are of course very different from an adult, and of course very different from an elderly person as well.
Right.
And so of course, like, the issues or the challenges, that our elderly will face, uh, it would actually help them to be able to talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more about being able to talk to someone and talking about what your issue is, and then being able to just find peace with the solution that comes for you. So it definitely does, because some tools, there are mechanisms, there are things that can be done to help them out in whichever way they want.
Okay. Health concerns, which are something which it affects everybody, but for the elderly, that becomes like one of the limiting factors. They are what their health conditions are like. They're constrained by that. So are there things like, suppose somebody has high BP or has high sugar, is there something which you as a life coach, I mean, I know you're not a doctor and you cannot prescribe medication, but are there other things which you can suggest which can help elevate that situation, help them I mean, at least cope with it better, cope with the situation better?
So again, Sanjana, I won't be able to tell them and say, chalo, why don't you try meditation? I
Mm-hmm.
would try and help them ascertain what works for them.
Sure.
So in the process of my conversation, with the kind of questions I would ask them,
Mm-hmm.
it would be about what works for them. So for somebody, meditation will work, whereas for somebody, chanting will work. For somebody, yoga will work.
Mm-hmm.
For somebody, maybe none of these will work.
Okay.
We try and find something else. So it'll be more. So again, I will not suggest to them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like for me personally, meditation works.
Okay.
It's something I've tried, I've tested, but I know that if I, as a coach, I cannot put that onto you. I
Right.
have to be able to help determine what is it that works for you, and then help you work towards that. So once that gets determined, then as a coach, I need to help you again set your goals, set your targets for yourself. So that, I mean, say for example, it's meditation. So then if you decide and say, I want to meditate, then I will help you determine and say, okay, do you want to meditate 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes in a day?
Right.
Then when we come back, a week later or 5 days later, whatever, check back to make sure that, it was done. If
Mm-hmm.
not done, then, understand what is the reason and then try and find solutions accordingly.
Okay. Another interesting thing which you've mentioned, I mean, you haven't mentioned today, but you talk about is behavior patterns. What do you mean by that?
So, there's a certain pattern or a way that one reacts to things, or a certain pattern that one has for responding to certain situations.
Okay.
So as a coach, it's more about trying to address what that is and help you navigate it so that the next time it comes up, you're cognizant of it and then deal with it in a better way that works for you.
Okay. Right. So it's actually recognition of some things which happen often enough in your day or in your
Exactly.
life.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Like
Okay.
somebody like me, it's more about, like, say, I would say, okay, I lose my temper very often, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I get very short, sometimes when I'm speaking. So it's about me then recognizing and saying, okay, this is something that an issue that I have. This is an issue I need to work on. And so I'm doing this for myself. It's not for anybody else, but I need to then work on it myself. So as a
Right.
coach, I will help you identify what that issue is and then help you find the solutions to better enable you or better equip you to deal with it the next time you're faced with it.
Okay. And for people who are listening in, how does one become a life coach?
Okay, so there are lots of programs that are actually offered,
Okay.
whether it's in India or abroad. I mean, there are a lot of suggestions. There's, a lot of information and data out there. One can choose a program that works for you. The first level, the one which I've done so far, is a very intensive. The one I've done was a very intensive 4-month program that I did. It was, I actually felt like I'd gone back to school in college because it involved a lot of studying, a lot of homework assignments, a lot of reading. And so there's a lot of work that you need to do to train yourself to become a coach. And this is only, and then you have to complete a certain number of hours before you get your ACC certification.
Okay.
And then there are steps that, take you further, like, which you can do another course to become a PCC and then an MCC. So there are a lot of steps basically to become a master coach.
Okay. So, I mean, if
Yeah.
one wants to enroll in, are there, I mean, is there some suggestion you would like to give? Or
So
do
there are a few.
right.
I mean, there are quite a few. Like I did my course through a school called Abhyudaya,
Okay.
which specializes only in coaching. There is something called Ericsson also, which is supposed to be very good. So there are 3-4, kind of courses or schools. A friend of mine actually, I think, was on the call, who's also done from someplace, I think, in Europe, which is also a very good course. I'm forgetting the name of that right now. So there are a lot of these programs available.
Okay. Okay. So one needs to just see what is suitable for the person who is looking to be a
Correct. And when that course is starting, what is the time frame?
right.
And they're all about 3-4 months because they're very intensive.
Okay. Right. Again, to come back to meditation, that's something which you said that it's helped you a lot in your life. Um, are you going to share some meditation tips with us? Show us what we can do, perhaps. Um,
Yeah. So, okay. So for me, this meditation journey was actually very enlightening. Like when you talk about meditation what is meditation, right? Meditation is basically silencing your mind. It's about, again, it's like similar to when you say you open a tap, right? So in meditation, it's opening your third eye over here. And when your third eye opens, it's your intuition, it's your clarity that opens up. So it's sitting with yourself, giving yourself those few minutes of the day to experience life, experience that energy for yourself.
wow, that's beautifully explained, actually.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So I'm going to just do like a short 5-minute meditation
Oh, lovely.
example.
Okay, great. I hope the our viewers would love to join in and they will follow what you have to tell them. So please tell us what we need to do, Sonali.
Okay. So I'm going to just request all of you to just sit comfortably the way you're sitting. And I'm just going to play some music in the background. And all you need to do is just shut your eyes, okay? And just focus on your breath, your normal breath. It's like a breath that we take for granted. So I will guide you a bit through it. Just give me a... Sorry, 1 second. I don't think it's playing. Sanjana, can you hear it?
Yes, I can hear it.
You can hear the music?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to request everybody to just close your eyes and just clasp your hands, just sit in a comfortable position, and just focus on your normal breath. So you don't have to take a lot of deep inhales or deep exhales. It's just about bringing your mind to the here, to the now, to the present, and to your normal breath. Just focus on the simple inhale and exhale that you have. Just breathe in all the calmness, the positivity, the good energy. And then breathe out the stress, breathe out the anxiety, breathe out the pain. It's okay if your mind wanders. It's very, very normal for the mind to wonder about that telephone call that got left, or if you're working an email that you needed to send, or what is it that you need to make for dinner. It's okay. The moment you realize that your thoughts are wandering and it's going into that, the moment you have that realization, just bring your awareness back to your breath and just focus on it. Just be with your breath. Do not be afraid to let go or lose control. Your breath is your friend. It's something you actually take for granted. It's the only thing that's there with you 24/7. Just enjoy the peace and the calmness when your mind becomes still. Just relax and just be with your breath. Give
Sorry, I
yourself
think
these few minutes.
Recording in progress.
With each inhalation and exhalation, just stay, breathe in the calm and breathe out the stress. Breathe in the acceptance and breathe out the resistance. And whenever you're ready, you can just rub your hands gently and bring them over your eyes, ending in a gratitude and namaste to all the energies around us, thanking them to be with us. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes.
I can't say much more now. That was really relaxing. But you know what happened? I think the electricity went off and we lost quite a few people in between.
Oh,
I think they haven't managed to log in. I
okay.
know we
No,
had that problem. Yes. But oh, that was very, very relaxing. Maybe we
thank
should
you.
get you to do this, for a week. And then, all the stress and anxiety levels will be a thing of the past.
Yeah, happy to help in whatever way I can.
Yeah, yeah, I know, I know. This will be again some more juggling which you'll need to do then, Sonali.
Happy to do that.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. That was very relaxing, and it's been so reassuring listening to you. And it's always good to know that there is somebody end of the day who's there to listen to you and in so many ways not judge you, because very often we fall into this little trap where we are not able to share what we feel with others because we feel that how is the other person going to think about us. So what you said, that as a life coach, that's what you do, is you help people overcome whatever anxiety or whatever problems or issues they have in their life. You help them overcome that. So it's
Yeah,
wonderful.
absolutely. And without any
I would
prejudice.
like to, yeah, exactly. Sorry, you were saying.
No, no, carry on.
No, I was going to ask our viewers if they want to say something, and definitely we want to know how they were able to keep time when they didn't have all these devices,
Yeah,
which we
exactly.
have today. So it would be wonderful to listen. I mean, if somebody is ready to share their views with us. Anybody they'd like to share?
Jaggi uncles, now is your chance to ask the questions. I don't think he's here.
In the meantime, I'll just read what's chat box. From Aditi to everyone, felt so good. Thanks, Sonali. And Mr. Aluwa, meditate was a good
Thank you so much.
experience. Thank you very much. Anybody else would like to ask Sonali? Any? Feel free to unmute yourself and.
Actually, there's something I'd like to say.
Now?
Hi,
Hello?
my name is
Go
Aditi.
ahead.
Yes, Aditi, please.
So I'm a member of IW1 and Sonali.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes?
Jagya.
Aditi, please go on.
Yeah. So I'm here when I saw that she'll be the speaker of the session. So leaving everything, I just made sure that I attend. And I mean, she knows, I think everyone knows that she's been someone who I've always looked up to for more than one reasons. She's very, very inspiring, and whatever she sets her eyes on and foot in, I think she takes to another level. I actually wish to imbibe that from her. Today's session was fantastic. I mean, it was brilliant in the way you conducted. Was very. Of course, the environment was. You made sure it's very conducive to learning, and it was a brilliant session. Thank you, Sonali.
Thanks so much, Aditi. You're just too kind and too sweet. Like, truly, thank you.
No, I mean it.
No,
Thank you.
really, thank you. It's both ways. Trust me, what you also do is like highly inspiring. So, like, truly, thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Aditi. Somebody else wanted to say something. Sorry, my internet has been a bit strange, so I lost what was happening in between. Somebody was saying something.
Yeah, I think
Somebody-
Jaggi uncle had said he wanted to say
Oh.
something.
Okay, please go ahead. Please unmute your connection and say what you needed to say.
Okay, I think his connection seems to have gone.
Okay. Anybody else would like to say anything before we end the session? Okay. Sonali,
Okay.
thank you so very much for being part of our ZoomIN session and, reassuring us that in case anybody needs to reach out to you, you are there and you're there to help each and everyone, and especially the community which we are in. We are really fortunate to have you. So thank you very much.
Ah.
And we
Hello.
look forward to, sorry, who is this?
Yeah.
Because of the electricity today, we are having a bit of connectivity issues. So, again, I would like to say thank you to you and hope to see you back again on Zoom sometime soon. Maybe just doing a session on meditation because I think many people really enjoyed that.
I would love to. Thank you so much, Sanjana. Thank you so much for having me here. It's really, truly, thank you. It's lovely to come back to, feel doing something for our community and happy to help anybody in any way that they like. So please feel free to reach out to me. I'm like literally down the road. And thank you again, to Sanjana, Mr. Magu, everybody for bringing me here. Thank you, Vasant Vihar Club. And I look forward to seeing everybody. Please take care, stay safe. And if there's anything we can do to help anyone, just feel free to call us.
Great. And on that note, thank you for joining us this evening, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Till then, stay well, stay safe, and don't get stressed, and hope all your anxiety is a thing of the past. Good night. Have a lovely evening. Bye bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.